F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T-and-S-N-double-O-B.
Yeah,
Internationally known.
can't forget. Dom Magic
You
One.
done heard about me.
Woo!
F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T-and-S-N-double-O-B. We internationally known and locally respected. Boy, I know you done heard about me. I'm a P.I.M.P.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but a bitch can't get a blunt up out of me. I drive a Cadillac, wear a perm cause I'm a G.
Shot Money.
And I'm a motherfucker
XL.
C.I.M.P. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get a crumb up out of me. I